Day 74, 1 Samuel 1 through 4. The Lord calls Samuel. 1. The birth of Samuel. Hannah dedicates Samuel. 2. Hannah's prayer. Eli's wicked sons. Prophesy against the house of Eli. 3. The Lord calls Samuel. 4. The Philistine capture the ark. Death of Eli. Chapter 1 and 2. Parents, our role as a discipliner is not just a good idea. It is our God-given duty. God has a blueprint for you to follow in your child-rearing assignment. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1 through 9. Read about it, build upon it, and watch God bless.
The first book of Samuel, chapter 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim, of the hill country of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephraimite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. This man went up out of his city from year to year to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. The 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, priests to the Lord, were there. When the day came that Elkanah sacrificed, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. Her rival provoked her sorely to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. As he did so year by year when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Elkanah her husband said to her, Hannah, why do you weep? And why don't you eat? And why is your heart grieved? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest was sitting on his seat by the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. She was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept sore. She vowed a vow and said, Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give to your handmaid a man-child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come on his head. It happened, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spoke in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. Eli said to her, How long will you be drunk? Put away wine from you. Hannah answered, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I poured out my soul before the Lord. Don't count your handmaid for a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and my provocation have I spoken. Then Eli answered, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition that you have asked of him. She said, Let your handmaid find favor in your sight. So the woman went her way and ate, and her facial expression wasn't sad any more. They rose up in the morning early and worshipped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house to Ramah, and Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. It happened, when the time was come about, that Hannah conceived, and bore a son, and she named him Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. The man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah didn't go up, for she said to her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide forever. Elkanah her husband said to her, Do what seems good to you. Wait until you've weaned him. Only let the Lord establish his word. So the woman waited and nursed her son until she weaned him. When she had weaned him, she took him up with her, and 3 bulls, and 1 ephah of meal, and a bottle of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh, and the child was young. They killed the bull, and brought the child to Eli. She said, O my lord, as your soul lives, my lord, I am the woman who stood by you here praying to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has given me my petition which I ask of him. Therefore also I have granted him to the Lord. As long as he lives he is granted to the Lord. He worshipped the Lord there. Chapter 2. Hannah prayed and said, My heart exalts in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in your salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside you, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceedingly proudly. Don't let arrogance come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge. By him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken. Those who stumbled are girded with strength. Those who were full have hired themselves out for bread. Those who were hungry have ceased to hunger. Yes, the barren has borne 7. She who has many children languishes. The Lord kills and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and brings up. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He brings low, he also lifts up. He raises up the poor out of the dust. He lifts up the needy from the dunghill, to make them sit with princes. Inherit the throne of glory, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord's. He has set the world on them. He will keep the feet of his holy ones. But the wicked shall be put to silence in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Those who strive with the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Against them will he thunder in the sky. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to his king, exalt the horn of his anointed. Elkanah went to Ramah to his house. The child did minister to the Lord before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were base men. They didn't know the Lord. The custom of the priest with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came, while the flesh was boiling, with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand, and he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took. So they did in Shiloh to all the Israelites who came there. Yes, before they burned the fat, the priest's servants came and said to the man who sacrificed, Give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have boiled flesh of you, but raw. If the man said to him, They will surely burn the fat first, and then take as much as your soul desires, then he would say, No, but you shall give it to me now, and if not, I will take it by force. The sin of the young men was very great before the Lord, for the men despised the offering of the Lord. But Samuel ministered before the Lord, being a child, girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little robe, and brought it to him from year to year, when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife, and said, The Lord give you seed of this woman for the petition which was asked of the Lord. They went to their own home. The Lord visited Hannah, and she conceived, and bore 3 sons and 2 daughters. The child Samuel grew before the Lord. Now Eli was very old, and he heard all the things his sons did to all Israel, and how that they lay with the women who served at the door of the tent of meeting. He said to them, Why do you do such things? For I hear of your evil doings from all this people. No, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. You make the Lord's people to disobey. If a man sin against another, God shall judge him. But if a man sins against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they didn't listen to the voice of their father, because the Lord was minded to kill them. The child Samuel grew on and increased in favor both with the Lord and also with men. There came a man of God to Eli and said to him, Thus says the Lord, Did I reveal myself to the house of your father, when they were in Egypt in bondage in Pharaoh's house? And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to go up to my altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give to the house of your father all the offerings of the children of Israel made by fire? Why do you kick at my sacrifice and at my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honor your sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the best of all the offerings of Israel my people. Therefore the Lord, the God of Israel, says, I said indeed that your house and the house of your fathers should walk before me forever. But now the Lord says, Be it far from me, for those who honor me I will honor, and those who despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Behold, the days come that I will cut off your arm, and the arm of your father's house, that there shall not be an old man in your house. You shall see the affliction of my habitation, and all the wealth which God shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in your house forever. The man of yours, whom I shall not cut off from my altar, shall be to consume your eyes, and to grieve your heart, and all the increase of your house shall die in the flower of their age. This shall be the sign to you that shall come on your 2 sons, on Hophni and Phinehas. In one day they shall both die. I will raise up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in my heart and in my mind, and I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. It shall happen that every one who is left in your house shall come and bow down to him for a piece of silver and a loaf of bread, and shall say, Please put me into one of the priest offices, that I may eat a morsel of bread. Chapter 3. The child Samuel ministered to the Lord before Eli. The word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no frequent vision. It happened at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place. Now his eyes had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, and the lamp of God hadn't yet gone out, and Samuel had laid down to sleep in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, that the Lord called Samuel, and he said, Here I am. He ran to Eli and said, Here am I, for you called me. He said, I didn't call. Lie down again. He went and laid down. The Lord called yet again, Samuel. Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. He answered, I didn't call, my son. Go lie down again. Now Samuel didn't know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed to him. The Lord called Samuel again the 3rd time. He arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for you called me. Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call you, that you shall say, Speak, Lord, for your servant hears. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood, and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel said, Speak, for your servant hears. The Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone who hears it shall tingle. And that day I will perform against Eli all that I have spoken concerning his house, from the beginning even to the end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever, for the iniquity which he knew, because his sons did bring a curse on themselves, and he didn't restrain them. Therefore I have sworn to the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be expiated with sacrifice nor offering forever. Samuel lay until the morning, and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. He said, Here I am. He said, What is the thing that the Lord has spoken to you? Please don't hide it from me. God do so to you, and more also, if you hide anything from me of all the things that he spoke to you. Samuel told him everything, and hid nothing from him. He said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seems good to him. Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. All Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. The Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. Chapter 4. The word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle, and encamped beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines encamped in Aphek. The Philistines put themselves in array against Israel, and when they joined battle, Israel was struck before the Philistines, and they killed of the army in the field about 4,000 men. When the people were come into the camp, the elders of Israel said, Why has the Lord struck us today before the Philistines? Let us get the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh to us, that it may come among us, and save us out of the hand of our enemy. So the people sent to Shiloh, and they brought from there the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, who sits above the cherubim. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. When the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. When the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What means the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? They understood that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp. The Philistines were afraid, for they said, God is come into the camp. They said, Woe to us, for there has not been such a thing before. Woe to us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that struck the Egyptians with all manner of plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and behave yourselves like men, O you Philistines, that you not be servants to the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. The Philistines fought, and Israel was struck, and they fled every man to his tent, and there was a very great slaughter, for there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. The ark of God was taken, and the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were slain. There ran a man of Benjamin out of the army, and came to Shiloh the same day, with his clothes torn, and with earth on his head. When he came, behold, Eli was sitting on his seat by the road watching, for his heart trembled for the ark of God. When the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried out. When Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, What means the noise of this tumult? The man hurried and came and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were set so that he could not see. The man said to Eli, I am he who came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. He said, How went the matter, my son? He who brought the news answered, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there has been also a great slaughter among the people, and your 2 sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. It happened, when he made mention of the ark of God, that Eli fell from off his seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck broke, and he died, for he was an old man and heavy. He had judged Israel 40 years. His daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child near to be delivered, and when she heard the news that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and brought forth, for her pains came on her. About the time of her death, the women who stood by her said to her, Don't be afraid, for you have brought forth a son. But she didn't answer, neither did she regard it. She named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory is departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. She said, The glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken.